Welcome to Portside Conversations, the official podcast of BVI Ports Authority, your portside seat to authentic voices and bold ideas. Welcome back to Portside Conversations, where today we are joined with Mr. Haycraft, and he has quite a bit of knowledge and information that he wants to talk to us about today. And I'm actually excited to sit with him from our pre-conversation because we're going way back. And I think it's an opportunity for those of you that are listening to really get an understanding of how the port began and how we have evolved and his interest in this particular industry and what it has actually done for him and his business. So, Mr. Haycraft, welcome to Portside Conversations.
Thank you.
So, Mr. Haycraft, tell us, let's get started a little bit about you. Tell us a little bit about you and some background, and then we will talk about this beautiful portrait that you have brought into the studio, and then we'll go from there.
Christopher Haycraft is my full name. Everyone knows me as Chris. Born in the BVI in the late 60s. And BVI has been my home. It is where home is. I am the son of the late Peter Haycraft, and my mother, Penelope Penny Haycraft, is still very much still going strong. And I am the current managing director of Island Shipping and Trading. We would like to call ourselves the leading shipping company in the BVI.
There you
go. But that's what I say. To check with the others if they agree. But we cover all aspects of shipping in the BVI. Cargo, cruise, yacht, customs, and a little bit of air cargo as well.
So what attracted you to this industry?
Well, it wasn't really an attraction. It was I call it a trick shot by my father, who I was working on yachts at the time, and this is going back in the late 80s. And my father said, "We need some help in the office. Could you come in and help out in the shipping office?" And here I am still. So yeah, he pulled me in, and I never got out. I never wanted to go into the retail business, into RTW. It didn't interest me. And but the shipping side, I've always been on the water. I've always been on the water. Not too happy about being in the water. Prefer to be on it, but I'm happy to get in it every now and again.
So he was onto something.
So yeah, and it was a natural. I said I was working on the yachting scene, and rolling into. I rolled into Island Shipping as cruise ships. So late 80s started coming, and that was the help that they needed, and so I pretty much promoted, took over, and ran the cruise ship section, and it's gone from strength to strength, as we know.
Yes.
So, as I say, I pretty quickly took over the operations of the whole business. It was a small operation at the time, and primarily focusing on tropical shipping, and we branched into the cruise ships, and we've had, as I said, it's gone from strength to strength. And with that, over the 40 years it's been, 30 plus years it's been, moved in customs clearance, tropical on strength. We do Sol with our tankers, Navy ships, and in the last 15 years, the mega yacht industry has taken.
So you're covering quite a gamut.
Well, we always say in our office, if it floats and you've got $1 you want to spend, we'll take it off you. So that's kind of the way we work.
All that sounds great. But here we are now, BVI Ports. Yes, we are celebrating, or this is our celebratory year of 35 years operating as a statutory body. But you mentioned or started talking about, you got started way back.
My mother has a great collection of old photos, and she found this one. It wasn't one of her photos, but she found it. Someone gave it to her. She gave me the name of the person, by Jack Brown.
So she did some homework for you for today.
No, she gave me this picture 2 years ago for my birthday. And it is the development of Port Purcell, the building of Port Purcell. And it's
wow.
It was very interesting. And the date on the picture is 1970. So I came into this room going, how can it be 35 years Port Authority? The port was built in the 1970s. Now, interestingly, Island Shipping was incorporated in 1962. So, you talk about history, and I mean, my father was a mariner, master mariner. He came here to run the Youth of Tortola, which was one of the first ferries from here to St. Thomas. He didn't particularly enjoy that job, but as I said, it brought my mum and dad to the BVI, and they knew this is where they were happy. They loved it here, and this is where they wanted to make home. And so it was, what do they do next? Well, simple story, he was the captain of the youth. Now, he would be leaving in the morning to go to St. Thomas, and people would come to him with shopping lists of money and say, while you're there, can you buy me this? Can you buy me that? And he would shop for people and then bring the stuff back. So I think that was what made him realize this place needed supermarkets. So he started importing carnation milk, tin products, and again, his simple story is that when he started, he rented a small, he called it warehouse, but a small downstairs on Main Street, and he could not move. He used to bring the product up to from St. Thomas to the dock in the ferry dock, what we call the ferry dock in town. He couldn't move it from the ferry dock to his store to sell it out because everyone would just come and buy it off the ferry dock. And so he very quickly realized that he couldn't succeed in this business model. But RTW was formed. It is what it is today.
Can I tell you, my mom used to work for your dad?
Oh?
She did. She built her career out right way.
Excellent.
She did?
Yeah.
She's retired now, but that's...
a lot of, yes, that
was a story.
That's history. And so, I said, Island Shipping was formed in 1962. And that was, the cargo, when he started bringing bigger volumes, the ships would anchor in Rhode Harbor and they would bring the cargo ashore by barge.
So he was the only one operating at that time?
I don't know.
Or the major one?
If he was the only one. There would be others, because there were other, Dougie's was a food store up in Hunton's Gut, I remember as a kid. So
I remember those.
Yeah, right. So, there was other ways of getting. It was how he got cargo in, and I mean, he went out and bought his own barges. He had the Kilross. because the local boats bringing the stuff up from St. Thomas were killing him, so he needed to set his own schedule, so he knew when stuff was coming. Needed to get to Virgin Gorda, the other outer islands, so he went and bought the course, which is a whole. One of the crew member wrote a book about it. I mean, that was quite an amazing achievement that they survived. So the port, this is fundamentally 1972. So let's say they start accepting cargo on it in the early 70s. The ships being able to come in and discharge directly.
So the ships are coming in.
This is the original bulkhead. Nothing's happened to it since they built it in the 70s. I don't, know how far across the pilings went, because I don't think they went all the way to the end there, because I think that's the actually,
beach. That looks like the beach at CSY.
No, that's further around. This is Fort Hill right here.
Oh.
So the fisheries is
understand.
Just right there. So the dock. This obviously they haven't finished.
Yeah. And so all of this was filled in after.
Yeah.
Okay. I see.
Yeah, and obviously Wickham's Quay 2 being built. That is not a straight line anymore.
Yes.
But no, it's a great photo. I mean, it really shows a lot of history. I mean, the kangaroo bar. Was that the one? The kangaroo bar? No, that's the kangaroo bar right there. Delta gas station would be right here.
This is amazing. I really like how it's showing us the before, because as we know it now, there's the highway going on this side, etc.
Yeah. A lot of reclamation.
Amazing.
So,
right. Both of us are in awe with the image. But tell us now how the port after 1970 coming forward, how you became one of the leaders.
Well.
In partnering in business with.
It's quite funny actually, because I got corrected only yesterday. Tropical Shipping is just celebrating their 50th year in business, and they produced a book which they gave me a copy of yesterday, and I read it. And my recollection is that Tropical has always been Island Shipping's partner here in the BVI. And the book says otherwise, that there was a gentleman who we may all remember, Mr. Dart, who had the helicopter on Beef Island. He was the first tropical agent here in Tortola. And because my father, who had established RTW at the time, was using a different company, and Tropical came and said to my father, we would, we'd like you to be agents. And he said, no, I can't, because I'm with, I think it was Inter USA Shipping. It was, and they were the ones who had a run, which incorporated the BVI. And he said, no, I can't. And they said, well, listen, if anything ever changes, would you be? And he was like, maybe. And so it was about 5 years after Tropical were in the BVI. The company, I think it was Inter USA Shipping, it was called, went bankrupt and stopped operations immediately. And overnight, Tropical flew in and said, all right, are you ready? And the book said that my father agreed on certain conditions, and some of those conditions, I mean, I still have the original Tropical contract. One of the conditions was my father at the time was the chief pilot for here, in the BVI, and that they would have to take a pilot, and it would be him. So not only was he charging them an agency fee, but he was also getting the pilotage fee at the same time. Right. And to this day, Tropical still, even though they come here 2-3 times a week, they still take a pilot to the berth. They've never asked for an exemption to not take a pilot, which I probably shouldn't say that. Head office may go, we can get an exemption.
So let me ask you again, and this is education for us too, just really seeing the importance of the relationship with shipping agents and a port such as BVI Ports Authority. Share some light with us on that, the importance of having a shipping agent and the relationship you have with ports.
It's not just with the ports. Mm-hmm. It's with everyone else in when I say everyone else, all the other immigration, health, customs. The agent. The agent's job is to ensure everything is taken care of.
Absolutely, as you deal with everybody.
And to pay all the bills so that the shipping line can come and go, at not at their leisure, because it's time is money. So in reading the Tropical book, the millions of dollars they spent changing how the containers interlock with one another, because it saved 2 minutes, and it meant that the crew didn't have to climb up to do the unlockings. They could do it from deck. So it saved them time, and it was safer for the crew. Things I read yesterday which educated me on these sort of facts. Mm-hmm. Same way as the agent is, so that the ship arrives and it can start working. Customs are happy, immigration are happy, health are happy, the port are happy. Of course, at the end of the day, everyone needs to be paid. And so with an agent involved, they know they're going to get paid. And there's honesty and integrity with that.
So the agent, again, for the listeners, their job is not just making sure that the ship comes in. You have some stuff to do before, working with environmental health, working with all the clearances, dealing with their respective agencies or government offices to do all that administrative stuff.
As an example, mm-hmm. We're working on the 28, 29 cruise ship schedule with the Port Authority, in berthage and timings and that kind of thing. Our cruise ship schedule is November to April, let's say. I have 5 staff who work year round. Even though the ships aren't here, the office is still working, and because we're not, even though the ships are coming today and we're working the ships, but we're planning 3-4 years down the road. Right. So and it's the same. It's the same with Tropical. The tankers. Even the yachts, which are a little bit at their own schedule. It's still, you can't just turn up here anymore. You have to pre-plan it. There's paperwork to be filed. Every immigration have to know. Health have to know. Ports have to know. Right. Customs have to know. There's a lot of paperwork.
I think that's important too.
A lot of tree killing.
Yeah. Well, talking about killing the trees, but I think today you should have a lot more digital processes in place. It's still a lot of paperwork.
No, because it's both.
Okay.
You got to do it electronically, and then you got to walk with the papers. That's another.
So perhaps there's some opportunity there, yes, for the other side.
Oh, gosh. Wouldn't that be nice if we could just rely on one or the other? But we don't have enough time to discuss that.
You sure?
Yeah, oh,
Give me a
yes.
little tidbit of your experience
we
with
would
that.
need, well, I mean, for example,
Yeah.
I mean, that's, customs.
Yeah.
Caps was bought in 15 years ago.
Mm.
It was like, for 6 months, guys, you just got to print off the paper, while we make sure the everything's worked. 15 years later, we're still printing off 5 copies of a T12, and a copy goes here, even though it's an electronic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So work in progress.
Killing a lot of trees.
Work in progress.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, Mr. Haycraft, to tell me some of the fun stuff that happens in your everyday,
Not a lot of fun.
Not a lot of fun?
No, every day is fun. Are we still on? Yeah, every day is fun. It's you come to the office and you've got no idea what's gonna meet you, what needs to be dealt with for that day. So it's a very how do you explain it? Keeps you on your toes. It's not a structure. People bring, hey, can we have lunch next Tuesday? And it's like, I have no idea if we can have lunch next Tuesday. Sure, but expect it to be cancelled. Something else may come along.
So let me just ask you, you've been in the business for a long time. What was an interesting moment you've had, even if it was a challenge, and how you were able to embrace it and I'm going to say win over the situation?
Irma, through a lot of challenges, and I would like to say that a win was that a week after Irma, you could still buy strawberries in the supermarket. The gas stations never ran out of gas. These, wasn't just about getting the ship here, getting the container off the ship, or getting the fuel pumped down the fuel line. Everything the port had to check to make sure their infrastructure could accommodate the needs of moving the equipment. The company that owns the tankers, which brings the fuel for Sol. We're only a Sol agent, and they an English company, and one of the crew members on the tanker at the time was in rotation in Tortola during Irma. His father was at sea and used to work for a company called Booker Line, which was one of the first shipping companies that came to the BVI. And so his father and my father were good friends. So the chief mate on the Rose PG, he sent me a message saying, "I've got you a care package. We're coming in. I've got you a care package. I'll give it to the boat to come ashore for you." And it was boxes of tea, it was sugar, powdered milk, and for months it sat in my office, because it wasn't the flavored tea I liked. I didn't need powdered milk because I could go to the supermarket and get the real milk, but it was still very, it's very tough. The whole office came together. My staff, I mean, they had horrendous stories of survival, as everyone did.
As everyone.
But they came to work and they did what they could do to help, the BVI get through, and it was the gateway to survival with support.
So let me ask you this then: since the Irma challenge, what has island shipping done differently? Because we've had to do a lot of things different since then.
Every day is
improve and enhance your business.
Every day is a different procedure. So it's very difficult to say since Irma and now we do things differently because everything changes so often. Before Irma, if you asked me what's that, I didn't have a clue what you were talking about, before Irma. I had one of the first cell phones when CCT bought cell
The big
phones.
ones?
Yeah, the bricks, yeah. Well, no, I had the briefcase with the battery and the handset. When they were testing the system, I tested the cell phones for them, and then I went to the brick. But so I didn't know WhatsApp, But now we have an inter-office WhatsApp where people, communicate. And, it's whenever there's any, even tropical storm, heavy rains, it's all, is everyone okay? Anyone need anything? COVID, we were given passes because shipping had to continue on. So we had curfew passes, emergency passes for a lot of our staff. Well, we utilized those passes to deliver food. I mean, not just to our staff, but to relatives as staff, there's people, word spread that, and because of our connection with the supermarket, we could get basics. And so we ran this through the office, ran this food delivery, underground food delivery,
yes,
to the community. And if we got stopped, we could flash our pass, and we got waved on. So
it sounds like WhatsApp.
Well, it's just one of many. I mean, it's also a pain. It's many. It's it's too easy now to communicate. And people want immediate answers.
As soon as you hear ping.
Well, they send you an email. If you don't respond to an email, they send you a WhatsApp, and then they ring you and go, well, "Why haven't you responded?" And it's like, it was an hour ago you sent an email. So,
I know that's becoming the standard now with communication. So emails is like secondary. I'll send you a WhatsApp, and then I'll call you.
Yeah.
Well, it sounds like you're having a pretty good operation going.
We've got a great staff. I mean, we really do. The staff up there in Island Shipping is every one of them, and not every day there's a new face, but there's new faces coming in, and some survive, some don't.
Yeah.
But I don't have a high turnover of staff. Everyone enjoys working there. We make it a friendly, enjoyable working atmosphere.
That's good. That's important.
And it's always let us know if there's something which isn't working for you, and we'll change it. We'll try and change it so it can work for you. I've loved working with the shipping industry. There have been times I haven't loved working with the Port Authority.
Oh yeah, it was one of those times.
Really? You want to go there?
Yeah.
No, I don't think we want to go with the Hogue. Ask your bosses about the Hogue.
Just give me one. Let's see.
We had all the permissions during COVID to bring the Hogue bought the cars in, and we had all the permissions from everyone during COVID to bring the ship in. And as the ship was tied to the dock and we were starting to offload it, the Port Authority decided that it wasn't going to happen and kicked us off the dock. And with that, we lost a client. The Hogue no longer comes here. The BVI community no longer has the ability to buy their own cars off island.
This was just after...
This is during COVID.
COVID. The COVID era. Okay.
And I never got told why. At first I was told because the cars are Chinese, and it's like, no, the cars are not Chinese. The ship is not Chinese. Nothing's come from China, because everyone thought that COVID came from China. It was a real stumbling block, a real...
So that was one of those experiences then that you're not happy about.
Yeah, and but several things have transpired since then, and you maybe understand why. But again, we're getting into different areas of conversation.
Yes.
Darker areas. Let's not go there.
No, we want to stay on the
You
lighter
asked,
side.
I answered. Now let's move on.
Well, thank you for sharing. But I think I'm sure the listeners could appreciate that in anything that we do over 40 years, everything couldn't be smooth.
No.
We would have had challenges with leadership because that evolved as well. The ports had a lot of changing guards during the 35 years. So yes, it will come with some pains and different decisions that are being made.
I listened to your podcast with Gene
Yes.
Creaky. Gene
Yes.
Creaky, I love Gene Creaky.
So did
Loved
we.
working with him. He was such a pleasure.
So, Chris, thank you for being on Portside Conversations, as
It was my
this is
pleasure.
the official podcast for BVI Ports Authority. It's an initiative of our 35-year mark that we will take on from here forward. And we are happy that you agreed to be a part of it.
Well, thank you. And onwards for another 35 years.
There you go. That's the push.
It is the gateway to the BVI. It's the port.
I agree.